The Lexington-Fayette County Health Department is working hard to fight the bite right now by trying to eliminate mosquitoes this summer.
Pesky. Already they are seeing a significant number of them in one particular area in Lexington, and it's a cause for some targeted spraying. WKYT's Mariah Conjito walks us through that process.
The health department says it's time for the area with the 40502 zip code to be sprayed after some 240 mosquitoes were found there in one of their traps.
We set traps every week during the summertime all throughout town.
The Lexington-Fayette County Health Department uses what are called gravid traps. It's essentially a container filled with a solution that mimics stagnant water. A fan and a net sit right over the surface of the water.
As mosquitoes come and try to lay eggs in our trap, the fan actually sucks them up into the net.
Luke Mathis with the health department says their trap on Henry Clay Boulevard, which is one of about 20, caught 248 mosquitoes in a 12-hour period.
If we hit a threshold number, usually around 75 to 100, that triggers us to go ahead and schedule a spraying for that area.
Mathis says they'll be driving this truck to spray the area. They use a spray called Duet. It's an EPA-approved agent that only affects adult mosquitoes that are in the air at the time of the spraying.
It's been extensively studied to be very effective at killing mosquitoes, but also to have very little to no effect on non-target species like other insects.
Mathis says it's also safe for humans and animals if they come into contact with it.
We're trying to reduce the numbers and thereby reduce any potential for mosquito-borne illnesses like West Nile, like Zika.
Nearly a week ago, West Nile infected mosquitoes were detected in Jefferson County.
It is very important that people take a look at their properties. Anything that holds any amount of water at all could be a source for mosquitoes to lay eggs and use as breeding sites.
Mathis says they'll start spraying around midnight tomorrow as to not disturb anyone who's going about their day. In Lexington, Mariah Conjito, WKYT.
And the health department says if you have a large number of mosquitoes on your property, you should give them a call.